In the heart of West Africa, Burkina Faso has become a flashpoint of instability. For years, the nation has grappled with a relentless jihadist insurgency, a crisis that has fueled deep public dissatisfaction and political turmoil. This climate of fear and frustration set the stage for a dramatic shift in power. The year 2022 saw the country already reeling from one coup, led by Lieutenant Colonel Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba, who promised security but failed to deliver. The security situation continued to deteriorate, leading to widespread protests and a palpable sense of betrayal among the populace. The stage was set for a new, younger figure to emerge from the ranks of the military. His name, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. On September 30, 2022, the capital, Ouagadougou, awoke to the sound of gunfire. It was a military takeover, swift and decisive. Traoré, then just 34, led a faction of disgruntled soldiers who seized control of key government and military installations. The coup was executed with precision, targeting the very regime that had itself come to power through force just 8 months prior. Footage from the day shows Burkinabe soldiers, loyal to Traoré, securing the national television headquarters and blocking access to the presidential palace. The atmosphere was chaotic, yet quickly coalesced around the young captain. Traoré and his men accused Damiba of failing to address the escalating security crisis and of prioritizing his own interests over the nation's survival. Damiba initially resisted, leading to a tense standoff, but within 48 hours he agreed to step down to avoid further bloodshed. The coup was complete. Traoré, a relatively unknown figure outside military circles, was suddenly thrust into the national spotlight. His first public appearances were marked by charismatic intensity and a formal, disciplined demeanor. He quickly consolidated his authority, backed by cheering crowds who saw him as a potential savior. Within days, the military junta officially appointed him as the transitional president. Traoré promised to restore security, reform the military, and return the country to constitutional rule when conditions allowed. He immediately began addressing the public and the military, often appearing in his combat fatigues, projecting an image of strength and commitment. His rhetoric resonated deeply, particularly his focus on national sovereignty and self-reliance. The international community reacted with immediate concern. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, which had already suspended Burkina Faso following the previous coup, dispatched high-level delegates to Ouagadougou. These officials, in formal attire, met with Traoré and his team, urging a rapid return to civilian rule and adherence to previously agreed-upon transition timelines. The meetings were tense, reflecting the regional body's frustration with the cycle of coups. Traoré, however, stood firm, asserting that the priority must be security and stability, not arbitrary deadlines. The international response was mixed. While some nations condemned the unconstitutional change of government, others, particularly those facing similar security challenges, watched with cautious interest. Traoré's rise represents a growing trend of young military leaders seizing power in the Sahel region, often capitalizing on anti-French sentiment and promises of decisive action against extremism. As the new leader of Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traoré faces monumental challenges. The jihadist threat remains existential, displacing millions and destabilizing vast swathes of territory. He must navigate complex international relations while delivering on his promises of security and governance. The world watches to see if this charismatic captain can transform his military victory into a lasting solution for a nation desperate for peace. In his own words, Traoré stated, "We have no choice but to fight for our homeland, for our dignity, and for our future."